This map first impressions video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Midwest Horizon. As you can see by the intro slide here, this map is set in Ohio, USA, and is indicative of a lot of the geographic area of the overall Midwest of the United States. This is a 4X map by TXR Mapping and CBJ Midwest Modding. Links to both of their Facebook pages will be included in the description below. And to download this map, go to TXR Mapping's Facebook page, click on the Play Game button just below the pictures there to start, and you'll be taken to his media file share. And in the media file share, you will find three folders. One that says FS17, one that says FS19 experimental versions, and one that says FS19 stable versions. In fact, let's just go ahead and pull that up here and show it to you guys. See, we have FS19 stable versions. Click on that, then we will have Midwest Horizon here. Click on that to download. Something else that he has included is the Midwest Horizon field sizes. And this is pretty convenient and will be a handy reference probably for lots of folks. So here we have the Midwest Horizon field sizes chart. And I've zoomed it up so it's going to be a little bit easier to see. See, basically he has all the fields listed, the size in hectares and the size in acres. I wanted to reference and figure out basically how big any one given field was in either hectares or acres to be able to do that. As you can see, there are a lot of fields. In fact, there are a total of 127 fields on this map. It is amazingly. So, let's go ahead and jump on in here and start taking a look at this map, because this is going to be a pretty long video in itself, because this is a 4X map. There is going to be lots to see and lots to look at. So, kind of say the same things now, don't they? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the log here as the map loads up. Are slowly loading up here. Now we're loading in the starting equipment, and presto, there we go. So our career start point when we load up the map, and quite possibly it might be, I haven't loaded this map up after a game save yet, but this might also be our general map starting point, because I did notice that there are no farmhouse triggers embedded on the map. So you're going to need to add your own farmhouse trigger for your ability to sleep at night and things like that. So we start here at the shop. Let's take a look at the PDA, and wow, this thing is big. Said this is a 4X map. Is indicative of a very specific area in Ohio. Very specific roads, rural roads here, and I suspect this field layout is very, very indicative of a Google Earth image. As you can see, we have our starting crops on the map, our standard crops, I should say. And if we take a look at the land section in new farmer mode, we start out with fields 25, 28, and 29. Take a look at some of the other land here. Big old field 42 is $1.1 million. Field 108 is $1.3 million. Sorry about that. Then we have little fields like 5 here, $55,000. Or section here like 26 and 27, $99,000. Then have smaller plots. Let's say we've got a plot over here, $10,000. You can buy a little house and make that your own. $18,000. So we've got this nice, huge spot up here, $609,000. This would be a really good spot to build out your farm. For sale areas also. lots of land to buy, lots of opportunity to expand. This would be a pretty decent multiplayer map when you're playing with multiple farmers also. Take a look at our sell points. We have two main sell points on the map that accept all of our crops. We also have a sell point for cotton and wool, sell point for eggs and milk, and then we also have a sell point for silage, hay, straw, and grass. There is no BGA here on this map, so that is something important to make note of. Got our starting equipment here. We'll notice we do have contracts on the map. Pretty large fields. They pay out pretty good. Now, something interesting is the starting equipment is down here at the shop, all lined up, ready for you to go. So unlike lots of maps where the starting equipment is scattered around the main farm, all of this is down here at the shop. You have to drive it up to the farm itself. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. Thankfully, this thing is pretty quick, so we won't have to worry about it taking so long to drive over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to drive over to the main farm. But in the meantime, while I'm driving over to the main farm, actually, no. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break into, I've already recorded a little flyover video. We're going to go ahead and jump to that. And then once that flyover video is done, jump back here and continue on with the tour. What we're going to do is we're going to explore the map. We're going to explore the southern section of the map first, because that is where all the sell points and triggers are located. And then we will kind of filter up from the southwest, probably up to the northwest, and just do kind of a loop, and then maybe cut into the middle of the map and go north, and basically then start, or then toward the end of the map, actually take a look at the main farm, and then that's how we'll do it. So with that, let's go ahead and cut to my flyover. All right, so let's go ahead and take to the skies, and we're going to go around south. So right here, as we're going to see in the drive around, that's where all the sell points are. This is one of the big main sell points of crops. And as you'll see, there are lots of little farms area, lots of little houses. We've got some water, standing water scattered around the fields. You can see a couple areas of standing water right now. For example, the field right there to our left has some standing water across the road even. Here's a nice little plot there, a little square you could build out some farms on, or a little farm on. Lots of these fields have these really dense planted groves of trees around them. These are not trees that you're going to be able to easily cut down. They're going to be pains in your tail. But if you're the kind of guy that wants to clear out some trees, go right ahead. You're going to have to wood chip them up, because I don't think that there is a log sell point on the map. Now we're flying over here to the other main grain crop sell point, and then off to the distance, we'll see on the flyover, but off in the distance, those white buildings are the animal buy points. So now we're just coming up through the southern part of the map on the western side, just taking a little look. You can see the fields overall are fairly flat. You can see a little bit of undulation in them, but nothing to any great extent. They're flat for all intents and purposes. Take a look at the sight lines across the map. You can see all the way across. I've got the view distance fairly high on my system, so we can pretty much see stuff all the way across the other edge of the map. There's another nice square there that we could use to put some buildings down in. We've got a irrigation sweep there. That's static objects. We'll take a look at that as we drive through. Now we're going to do a quick flyover. This is the main starting farm right there. And some high-speed drone right here. Like I said, lots of static, static background farms. They all, for the most part, have usable buildings that you could use. Once you buy the land, you could put yourself, you could store equipment in there. But an interesting oversight, which I'm going to mention several times during the rest of the video, is there are no silos on the map that you can use to store grain. So this is a really good prime spot to be putting down a main farm, that little area back there. We're going to come across the northern edge of the map at this point, and we've got lots of little houses, little farms built out up here. This big section of forest, if you will. We've got some trees and not some trees, but some fields scattered back in there. And then this particular grove here, I'm going to point out when we do our drive around, we've got a really cool old barn kind of stashed down in there. Right here, we've got another spot where we could build out a farm. Not a whole ton of locations to build out farm areas on this particular map. Now, if you look, you see all that flashing off there in the distance? That is all basically groundwater. That is the water plane that has seeped up basically above the ground surface for some groundwater. So like I said, there's lots of spots that have standing water on the map. So let's go ahead and we'll just conclude our flyover. We'll head back to the shop and get on with the proper drive around. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed the flyover. We are now back at the shop, and I thought we'd go ahead and just a little bit closer look here at the shop. So if you're the kind of player that likes to use the shop trigger to go into the vehicles area in the shop, well there you go. We've got the shop trigger inside the shop. Be nice to see maybe a little bit of just ambiance and decorations within the shop itself. There are clearly areas that are defined for offices and such. Those are all just completely vacant spaces. Now around the back here, have the customize, repair, and sell trigger. So up the door here, and here we have that trigger to do our maintenance work, customizations, and selling of vehicles down here at the shop. Let's go ahead and get in our Mahindra, because I want to head on down here because we've got a few sell points. In fact, we've got quite a large number of sell points here in this one little area. We have the mid-area dairy is, I believe, where our milk is going to be accepted. Let's just confirm that. So we have the mid-area LLC. Indeed, where our milk is being delivered. We have Midcott coming up. Midcott will be our cotton sell point. What we can see here on the sign is that Midcott is right here under this roof area right here. Then we have mid-range eggs for our egg sale. On at Midwest wools, go ahead and just trigger that up. There we have our wool sell point. And we've got, of course, our one and only, I think, this is our one and only gas station on the map. Be very, very careful that we don't find yourself without fuel and not enough fuel to get down here and fuel up. An interesting deal here. I wonder what this is. This is kind of, I guess this is, it's like a, it's like a stormwater overflow or something. This is obviously like a dry riverbed. At one point I thought maybe this was to C&O Canal. but no, not with that bridge there. It just appears to have a riverbed, dry riverbed, and then we've got a little bit of kind of an overflow channel here. We'll notice on the drive-through, and you probably have pointed out on the flyover narration that a lot of the the map has like ponds and other little areas of water. This one over here to our right, but overall they're fairly low as far as the water level goes. Then again, we see other areas where we have standing water in the fields. So it's kind of an interesting thing where it's like we have shallow groundwater, but at the same time, it's kind of a dry area that hasn't seen a lot of rain. So here we have one of the cell points on the map. This is the Horizon Co-op. So within either one of those areas is the dump trigger. This would be an interesting spot where you could put down buildings should you wish, since this is a buyable area. And zoom on out here. Would have been nice if we used if the road textures were a little bit higher, a little bit on the higher resolution levels. Get down here to the road level. Roads look a little bit blurry, a little not so crisp as maybe like them to see. Definitely not as crisp as even the roads on Ravenport. But when you get to a little bit higher level up, then it's not so much of a deal. But then you get some weird, interesting things going on, like right here, right in front of us. Little like loops of static electricity or something, kind of coming out of the road area. Over here to our right, we've got another sort of abandoned farm area where everything has been lost, maybe to time and deterioration. Obviously, buy that and put a little bit of farm equipment there. Put a little bit of farm buildings. There are tons of these pre-built farms on the map, scattered all over the place. Obviously, buy and make use of. Now, some of them do, and some of them do not have operatable doors. This one is one of the ones that does have doors that open. Yeah. So a lot of these areas, and if I am not mistaken, I believe this map was originally started back in Farm Sim 17 timeframe, and was maybe intended for release in 17, just never got completed. So I think a lot of the gameplay elements related to the pre-built out farms are coming from there. Here we've got some standing water. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got some standing water coming across the road here and over the fields. But then we'll come across some other areas of the map where we have much a pond that just feels pretty vacant, pretty pretty dried up and empty, void of water. Go ahead and pull up the PDA here and just take a look. Lots of offshoots, lots of off-roads, and private drives leading back to individual small farms and residences. Saw a couple of those as we drove by on our right. Obviously, wouldn't have. It would be way long if we went and tried to go to each and every one of them. There's another one of the farms. What we're going to do is we're going to take a U-turn here because we are approaching the boundary of the map down here. Then here's this grass area. Around. so what we're going to do is we're going to go up there to CR 101, make our way west over to Cooper Farm Grain, and then loop over to the animal dealer, then make our way up north. Now, the forested areas here on the map are extremely dense. They're also not the kind of trees that you're going to roll in here with scorpion and cut down with any great speed or efficiency. So there isn't really a practical forest area on the map. I don't believe there is a cell trigger for logs. At least I haven't noticed a cell trigger for any logs at the moment. As you saw through the flyover, there is lots of very interesting sight lines and everything else here on the map. Over here to the west side of the map, there are more large fields than there are on the east side, possibly indicating that this specific area is maybe kind of toward the fringe of the quote-unquote Midwest. And the west side of the map is obviously more indicative of big Midwest fields, whereas the east side of the map is a little bit more indicative of maybe more East Coast, smaller fields, more odd-shaped fields, smaller farms in general. Deliberate, or that just may be based on this is indeed a Google Earth representation, and it may just be how that particular area of Ohio just happened to be. Now we're coming over here to the Cooper Farms Grain. Cooper Farms Grain, yep. For the scale, go through our dump location. Going around. Cut through the building here. I guess we're not looping through the building. This appears to be one of the doors that we can't open. Back on out. Would be interesting, in my opinion, to see a couple more fuel areas on the map, even if it's just fuel tanks on some of these random farms. 4X map is quite a big map to go and have just one area to purchase fuel. Of course, we do have small fuel bowsers and other things that we can use to bring fuel to our vehicles. Find ourselves poor planning and ourselves to be out of fuel. It's going to go up here to the next intersection and then make our way over here to the animal dealer, which is also where we have our hay, straw, grass, and silage sell point. And you know what? Thinking about it, I don't think we actually did a really good look at that starting equipment. And I just immediately jumped into that flyover and then started exploring the map. When we get down here, we're going to take a look at starting equipment and see if there are any custom placeables we could put down. Here we have our animal dealer, MH and Company Animal Logistics Custom Feed Programs. Got our animal trigger here. Got some cows and some sheep already lined up on the chute, ready to go. Pig, sorry. Then around the back here we have the hay, straw, grass, and silage sell point. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at that starting equipment. Go to our garage. Start out with two John Deere tractors, the 8400R and the 7270R, that range in horsepower from 305 to 450 horsepower. We have the Lizard Warrior pickup or semi. We have the 2014 pickup truck. Get the John Deere T560 harvester with both corn and row crop headers. Kinsey grain cart, Wilson Pacesetter belly dump trailer, Porsche Tiger cultivator, Porsche Pronto seeder, and the fertilized spreader. Fertilized spreader. Take a look here at our custom placeables. See if there's any down. I think there is. Yep. Pretty standard, pretty stock. Now, one thing I did notice when I was doing a pre-look around is it doesn't appear that any of the farms, including the farm that we own, has a farm silo placed. If you're going to want to store your grain, i.e., not take it directly from the field to the sell point, you're going to need to put down a farm silo of your own. Go ahead now and just make our way up to the north. Interesting. This road over here is one of the windier roads on the map compared to all the others, which are pretty well laid out in a straight grid. The section down here is kind of windy. Coming up here to field 110, which does have some utility poles running through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the field here and just check and see if these poles have a collision on them or not. Oh, they do indeed. So this will affect hired helpers. And if you use Courseplay, you're going to want to use the avoid islands option. Let's just go here and just loop through this particular collection of buildings. You could imagine that this could be a farmer's farm, but the only thing really missing in a lot of these areas is the house. I don't know if it's common in the Midwest, just have random clumps of farm buildings, not have a farmhouse associated with it or not. But where I am in Virginia, it's pretty odd. But have buildings here and then have somebody farmhouse actually at some other area. It just feels a little weird, but maybe it's possible that the farmer that owns this plot and has those buildings, maybe he lives up the street here, this house over here to the right. I don't know. Play it however you want. There are lots of possible farm areas for you to use. In fact, here we've got a big, long, private driveway. First found this area, I was like, oh, maybe this is part of the starting farm, because if you look at the PDA, the drive pretty much runs and almost comes up to the back of the starting three starting fields that we own, but they do not appear to be interconnected whatsoever. On this private drive, we've got a house and a barn. Big old pond. It's not doing too bad with respect to water levels on this one. The flyover, we came over here and we saw the irrigation here, the irrigation arm. Now, something to note is that the irrigation arm itself does not have collisions on it. At least the wheels and everything that I can drive through with the Mahindra. But the pivot point does have a collision. We'll once again need to use void islands on this field using courseplay, or if you just use hired help, they will basically work through the rotation point, the rotation arm, but the pivot point is going to be a point of obstruction for them. Then the private drive, you can see ends down here. This pre-built farm. Sadly, all of these are built in. We can't sell them. We can't get rid of them unless we go into Giants Editor and just delete the buildings out. Are plenty of decorative, non-functional cow barns on the map, as if it was the farm that was set there was a cattle farm or a dairy, but none of the triggers work. So if you want to put down run a dairy operation, you're going to need to put those down yourself. This plot right here, this little notch out of the field would be another great starting spot for someone to build out the farm. Due to having all of this land, all these little notches kind of already pre-populated with farm buildings, doesn't leave a lot of room without you really sacrificing field space. Not that there is a shortage of field space on the map, but some folks like myself have a hard time sacrificing field space for farm building. It just seems wrong to go and do that. It is nice to find certain little areas tucked in here and there that seem to be already expected to be used for the purpose of building out a farm area. Their dry riverbed. Coming up here now to the north of the map. If we continue up north, we're going to run into a map boundary. Go ahead and make our way to the right at this point. Across the top of the map, going west, east. First look at the PDA, you think, oh, there's that big rectangle south of 121, north of 42 that you could use to build out. Well, that's that dense forest right there. Dense set of trees. You're not going to want to be cutting that down because, like I said, these are not the kind of trees that are easily cut by a tree harvester. You're going to have to come in here with something, chainsaw, and do this pretty manual. Now, in the flyover, I demonstrated that this area of trees actually had an old abandoned barn in it. I thought it was a really cool touch. Have that type of detail. But yeah, take a look. I mean, this is some dense planting of trees and undergrowth and shrubbery. See, these are obviously trees that are not easily cut, but you could definitely be rewarded if you came in here and got this all cleared out. It would be a great spot to build out a farm, with the exception of the abandoned barn here. Bit low texture, bit low resolution, and sadly, it is completely void of collisions. Nice if this had collisions, in my opinion, and was maybe a bit higher resolution. It's nice to see maybe from the road or from above, but if you come in here and just play around and that you're trying to explore the rundown barn for treasures and whatnot, you're going to be a little maybe disappointed by the visual appearance of that. Got some standing water here in field 41. You're going to find lots of standing water all over the map. As I alluded to, And then right next to the standing water, we've got kind of a pond that is really low on its own water level, which is kind of odd. You would have standing water in the field, but then you would have a really low pond area. Lots of little farms over here. I haven't counted how many there are, and I would probably mess up the count because there are just so many. How many little individual farm areas there are here on the map. There are definitely a large number of those. I know folks will be asking, is this available on console? And quite honestly, you probably have not gotten to this part of the video before you've already asked that question. But I will tell you that since this map is a 4X map, it's not eligible for console release. It was submitted to the Giants Mod Hub for consideration for the Giants Mod Hub for PC only, but it was pulled out. I think it was kicked back a few times, and I think mod authors decided that it was just best to get the map out in general release via Facebook as opposed to iterating consistently through several Giants requests. So this is that spot up here to the north that I said I think would make a really good spot to build out a farm. It was I think $600 and some $1,000, but it's big, flat, grassy area. Have a couple abandoned buildings in the back of your farm. Unless you went into GE and deleted those out. Whoa. Got signs here, private property, no trespassing. Would make a really great spot up here in the northeast of the map. Down on the southern side of the east part of the map, this one's a really nice built-out farm. Lots of buildings. Do fairly large buildings for large equipment. Again, no functional silo on any of these. So if you want to store your grain, you're going to have to put down your own silo. Take a look at those sight lines crossed. Map is fairly flat, but then again, that is very indicative of the Midwest. So folks that are like, the map is too flat for me, well, don't move to the Midwest. You would go insane with the level of flatness that you run across there. Make our way over here more toward the middle of the map. And then we're going to come down south across the middle to the starting farm. The starting farm is just to the north of this. Look around. Lots of these little farms, all within visual range of each other. Very indicative of what you're going to see in a real rural area. Drive down the road and you would, easily pass 5 or 6 farms over the course of a 4 or 5 mile stretch of road. Or any one point you could stand and probably look around and see a good dozen to a half dozen of these concrete silage towers, silage bunkers, silage silos, call them. So this is, for all intents and purposes, our starting farm, because this is the little farm that's built out next to the 3 fields. Got fields 25 there to our right, our left. Got the grass area, which is not numbered. Got 2 fields, 28 and 29, which are bare dirt. Right. Buildings are by J. Motti. Nice. Just wish that this particular farm had a bit more vehicle storage, because this barn here is kind of equipped to be a dairy, kind of a cow area. But again, there are no active triggers. If there's going to be any one built-in custom cow barn, this would be the barn I would think you would have it in, because you own fields right here area. Work. This is really a great layout of buildings. I've seen barns that look just like this. But yeah, no functional triggers in here at all, other than opening the doors. So I think it's a good opportunity that is maybe lost in this map. Overall, I think this is a really nice map. Very good quality as far as laying out and representing the area of the country that it is to be representing. Of course, this map will not be for everybody. Well, that's okay, because there are plenty of maps out there that will suit somebody when this one may not suit. But of course, this map will suit lots of folks that are looking for the indicative Midwest American style farming map. So with that, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and conclude this video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of Midwest Horizons? I think it's pretty cool. Pretty nice. And we might just be seeing it on a multiplayer server here in the channel. Not sure how that's going to work out, but I can see that possibly happening. Got some side buildings, little side road. Let's actually go down here. I wanted to go down here. I was exploring the map earlier and I didn't. Bridge. All these fields. That's pretty cool. That overall setup. All right, guys. So like I said, let me know in the comments, what do you think of Midwest Horizons? Let's go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Do map videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, this particular video is going to be coming out on Saturday, just because I know that this map was really highly anticipated and everything, and folks are going to want to not going to want to wait until Tuesday to see the map video. So I thought I'd just go ahead and get it out on the channel sooner. But typically, if we're going to do map videos, they're going to come out on Tuesday or Thursday. And then we try to do mod review videos Monday through Friday. If we've got quality mods that we're going to show off, they're going to be on the channel Monday through Friday. Occasionally, we have a weekend mod video. And then on Saturday, we try to do what I call a weekend review, weekend roundup of mods released in the Giants Mod Hub that particular week. Lots of content in the channel. This would make an excellent starting farm if it only had a silo or grain built in. So until next time, happy farming.